Let me talk to you for a second. Not like a video. Just like a real conversation. There's something I've been thinking about for a long time. And I think you might recognize it. Have you ever felt like you want more from life? But at the same time, you don't feel the energy you think you should have? Like there's a version of you that wants to move forward. To build something meaningful. To do work that actually matters. But then there's this other feeling. A heaviness. A pause. Almost like something inside you keeps saying, wait, not yet. And that confuses you. Because on the outside, it looks like nothing is stopping you. But on the inside, it feels harder than it should. I've been there. Wanting progress. But not feeling aligned with the effort it requires. And the hardest part isn't the work itself. It's the uncertainty. It's not knowing whether the energy you give today is actually moving you towards something real. Have you noticed how exhausting that is? You can push yourself for a while. You can stay busy. You can keep doing things just to feel like you're moving. But at some point, something inside you starts slowing down. Not because you don't care, but because you care deeply. And that part of you doesn't want to waste itself. Sometimes I wonder if what we call lack of drive is actually a quiet form of honesty. An honesty that says, I need to understand where I'm going before I give everything I have. Because effort without clarity doesn't feel motivating. It feels draining. And nobody really talks about that. We talk a lot about pushing forward. About discipline. About consistency. But we don't talk enough about direction. About meaning. About the moment where you stop and ask, what exactly am I building here? That question can feel uncomfortable. Almost scary. Because slowing down to think feels like falling behind. But what if slowing down is actually the moment where things begin to make sense? What if the resistance you feel is not something to fight, but something to listen to? Sometimes the mind doesn't want more pressure. It wants reassurance. It wants to know that the path you're walking belongs to you. Not to expectations. Not to comparisons. Not to what sounds impressive. Just to you. And until that feels true, it makes sense that your energy comes and goes. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it might mean you're more self-aware than you realize. Because the people who never question their direction often wake up years later, wondering how they got somewhere they never wanted to be. You're asking the question earlier. And that matters. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to suddenly feel unstoppable. You just need one honest step. One moment of clarity that says, this is what I'm choosing to move toward. When that happens, effort starts to feel lighter. Not easy, but lighter. Because now your energy knows where it's going. And here's something important I want you to hear. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not failing some invisible test. You're in a phase where understanding matters more than speed. And that phase is not weakness. It's foundation. So if you've been feeling stuck, or slow, or unsure of yourself lately, maybe it's not because you lack strength. Maybe it's because you're strong enough to pause and ask the right questions. And that kind of strength doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks quiet, thoughtful, intentional. And when you move again from that place, it feels different. More grounded. More honest. More yours. That's not something to rush. That's something to respect. Take your time. Think clearly. And trust that clarity will come. When you stop fighting yourself. You're not lost. You're thinking. And that's where real progress begins.